That was Chris, who said also in the call that he effectively watched his mother draining away in front of his eyes because he was trapped a journey that should have taken an hour and a half, took 6 hours. That was to LBC's Andrew Pearce. Now, last week, a spokesperson, Liam Norton from Insulate Britain, came on the show, and he's joining me again now. Mr. Norton, and there's every chance that Chris is listening, what would you say to him? Good morning.
Hi, Nick. Obviously, our hearts go out to Chris and his mother, and it's a tragic situation. And it's terrible, Nick, isn't it, that we're in this position where
it's not terrible. I'd like it to be
actionable.
I'd like it to be actionable. I would like to round your colleagues up and put them in jail. So I don't think it's terrible. I think it's actionable. And I still haven't really heard, apart from a rather lame apology, how can you justify your actions?
Well, it isn't about justification, Nick. It's about acknowledging the situation that we're in. And what we're saying to you, Nick, and I spoke to you last week, and I told you about what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. And you came back at me with a story about diesel cars, and it sounds like you can't emotionally connect with the truth.
Don't talk to me about emotionally. Don't lecture me about emotional connection, Mr. Norton. You've just heard a caller explain how he watched his mother effectively drain away in front of his house for 6 hours. Don't lecture me on emotional content, okay? Let's get that straight.
And I'm talking to you about the suffering of millions of people.
And I'm talking to you about the suffering of Chris's mother, which you brought about with your colleagues, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the fact that people are suffering is hideous, but that is on such a global scale. It impinges on the governments of China, India, the United Kingdom, Australia, everything. That woman effectively dying in front of her son's eyes is down to you and your colleagues. So when are you going to suddenly stop with these lame apologies and actually accept that this is not the way to protest? Mr. Norton.
It's awful, Nick, isn't it? That we have to...
I've had enough. It's not awful. What's awful is climate change, of course. What's awful is that someone has virtually died because of your actions. That's what's awful. Liam Norton is with Insulate Britain.